Hey everyone, before I get into the video, I know this is a very long one, but it's worth the watch because we discuss a lot and I rant quite a bit, but I just wanted to let you know that I've partnered up with a streaming platform called Bigo Live, and you can download the app via the link in the description. I will be planning to live stream tomorrow on the app, and I will rant and share my thoughts on Modern Warfare 2 and Season 2 and everything that they've revealed to us for a good couple hours or so. And what's more is that I'm going to be giving away a $100 gift card to everyone who follows me on the app, using the exclusive link in the description. You need to use that link. So yeah, I'll show up now. Hopefully you can tune into some of my live streams on there and enjoy the video. Infinity Ward finally just released the Season 2 roadmap and blog post for Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2, and wow, just wow, how awful is this? This season has of course been delayed. Season 1 has lasted for over 3 months and the community is very tired. Modern Warfare 2 had it all on launch. There was so much hype, everyone really enjoyed the campaign, but then Season 1 had barely any content. For multiplayer fans, all we got was shipments and shootouts, not a single new multiplayer map for 6v6. So people were like, surely, with Season 2, we're going to get some unique multiplayer maps, or at least some other content. But even with this delay, there is literally not a single new 6v6 map coming in Season 2, which is obviously releasing next week on February the 15th. All we are going to be seeing is a remake of Dome from Modern Warfare 3, and then they are bringing back Museum at last. Of course, this was a map in the beta, and then it weirdly got removed, and they're adding it back, not giving us any word as to why it was removed. People think it might have been due to copyright issues with the Getty Museum in LA, which the museum is based on. But yeah, they're adding it back now, and it's essentially like it's new content. This is not new content, so essentially we're just seeing one map that we've never played before, at least in Modern Warfare 2, which is Dome. I mean, we have obviously played it before. There's been so many games that's already been remade in the past, but at least we've never played it within Modern Warfare 2's game engine. Now, the thing is, Dome is also featured within Al Mazrah, so it's already been in the game from the get-go. It's just released as its own map now, and that seems to be the theme with Modern Warfare 2's multiplayer. Literally, all of the content isn't new at all. Almost all of the multiplayer maps they are releasing are just stripped from Warzone. So we have 2 battle maps coming as well, which are Al Malik International, and then we have Zaya Observatory. Once again, both of these maps are just taken straight from Al Mazrah, so they're not new experiences, and that is fine. I'm perfectly fine with them repurposing content. It's a smart way for them to get multiple uses out of the same content. However, if they're going to be repurposing a lot of content to make up for that, they need to ensure that there's at least 1 or 2 new maps in the season to go alongside that, and Observatory also features Dome anyways. Infinity Ward have just completely given up, and I really have no idea what is going on, because it seems like we're essentially just getting Vanguard 2.0. Vanguard's post-launch was so awful, but it made sense for that game because of the fact that it had a really short development cycle, since Sledgehammer Games were previously working on Call of Duty 2020 with Treyarch, but they had issues with Raven Software and Treyarch were forced in to take over, and then Sledgehammer Games went on to make Vanguard after the fact. And of course the game sold really poorly because people weren't interested in the World War II setting, especially when Sledgehammer's last game was also set in World War II. They wanted something new. So because the sales were so poor, it seems like Activision siphoned a lot of their budget away to other resources, and that's why the post-launch for Vanguard was so bad. And Zombies was extremely rushed because Treyarch were clearly forced to just make Zombies for that game to artificially boost sales, and they probably only worked on it for a few months before launch, having to rebuild all of the zombie systems on a brand new engine. And because they were obviously busy working on Cold War Zombies and probably COD 2024 Zombies at the same time, they just didn't have time to make Zombies for that game. So it makes sense as to why Zombies was really poorly treated in Vanguard, and why that game in general was really poorly treated. It of course also only had 5 seasons instead of the traditional 6, but we could chalk up Vanguard's really poor post-launch due to circumstance and developmental issues, but we can't chalk up the same with Modern Warfare 2 because of the fact that Infinity Ward have had a very long time to make this game. It's been in production for over 3 years. It's the first Call of Duty to have a full 3-year development cycle since Modern Warfare 2019. They also did say before launch that this game would receive the most amount of post-launch content. They also said that they're going to be trying hard to improve their communication, to make things very authentic and clear to us, but so far Infinity Ward's communication has just been downright awful. And the content is again downright awful. We're barely getting any maps. Honestly, I wouldn't even be surprised if in this entire year we don't even get a single original 6v6 multiplayer map. Maybe literally every single season all we're going to be seeing are remakes, which is going to be very disappointing if true. And I think what's going on here is that the developers are trying to focus on way too many modes at once, and what it's meaning is that all of the modes are hurting because they're trying to do too much at once. And what's even more confusing about the fact that there's barely any content in Season 2 is the fact that most of the content coming in Season 2 isn't even being worked on by Infinity Ward, it's being worked on by other studios, because Warzone 2 is primarily being headed right now by Raven Software, and High Moon Studios are who made Ashika Island, which is also going to be coming over to DMZ. So Infinity Ward had very little input on that, so all they had to really focus on was multiplayer and then DMZ, and then the raid, which I'll come on to talk about in a second. So it's really confusing as to what on earth Infinity Ward have been working on. There's clearly something going really wrong behind the scenes in development over at Infinity Ward. There shouldn't be this little content. Why was Season 2 even delayed? And why, even with this delay, is there barely any content in the season? It's just really frustrating. You will have noticed that I've not been posting pretty much any Modern Warfare 2 videos on the channel because of the fact that I've not been interested at all. Season 3 has been so long and boring. I haven't been playing the game at all. I have literally no interest at all. I've also seen that the Call of Duty community, the hype has just dwindled down. I doubt many people are even playing this. Apparently, they've lost a lot of players. Of course, Warzone 2 had a very poor launch as well, and maybe that's part of the reason why we're getting little content, because they're trying to change a lot of the Warzone 2 mechanics to be more like Warzone 1, and maybe they're wasting so much dev time trying to revert a lot of those pointless changes they made. For example, they're changing back Warzone 2 to have a 1v1 gulag like the original Warzone, and the thing is, they're calling this a new feature on the roadmap. How on earth is this a new feature? Of course, this is something we've seen before. Once again, this is them just wasting time adding back features that were already in the original Warzone. Now, we have some other features coming to Warzone 2, but these are later in season. We have a new public heist data event, a redeploy drone, and a search and seizure contract. But yeah, all later in season. Other two things that are there on launch are restore on a mechanic and a personal watercraft vehicle. And of course, we're seeing resurgence back with Ashika Island, which is awesome, but at the same time, they should have just launched with Rebirth Island and Fortune's Keep. They could have then added this new map as well. They've removed Rebirth and Fortune's Keep, just wasting all of that dev time, and now it's no longer accessible from the original Warzone, just to try and force people to come over to Warzone 2, which is really annoying. A really annoying thing is they've randomly added a new AI type that's going to be in Warzone as well as DMZ, that's going to throw smoke grenades and then will rush you with a sword. Why on earth would they do this? This is clearly going to glitch the game a lot, glitching through walls, and when you're running away and trying to plate up, this guy's just going to be after you. What on earth were they thinking? This is going to be so annoying. All of the changes and the things they've been doing to Warzone 2 have just been destroying the mode. But yeah, I have a lot to talk about, and I'll continue talking about it in a second because there's so much to rant about. And we also know that Shepard is going to be back, but first of all, I have an awesome message to share with you. Are you looking for a fun and healthy gaming experience? Well, look no further than Sports and Fun Swimming. Developed by Red Deer Games, it's now available for Nintendo Switch, and they have kindly sponsored this video. Swim at your own pace, make time for much needed breaks, and revel in the ultimate interactive swimming gaming experience. With its intuitive controls, swimming has never been easier. Simply move like you would while swimming in real life and push forward. And the best part, with the ability to switch up your swimming style at any time, the fun never stops. Whether you are playing with friends or challenging yourself, Sports and Fun Swimming has something for everyone to keep you entertained and fresh. Complete daily goals to reach your milestones to improve your stamina and unlock achievements, all while enjoying the healthiest gaming loop of your life. With cute characters, different swimming styles, and a variety of places to swim, Sports and Fun Swimming offers endless hours of fun for the whole family. You can enjoy a great time with family and friends of all ages. With both multiplayer and single player modes, you can dive into the fun with whoever you choose, whether you prefer to play solo or with others. Sports and Fun Swimming has got you covered. So what are you waiting for? Get Sports and Fun Swimming for Nintendo Switch today and enjoy the ultimate swimming experience. And now, just to conclude this message, I'm going to play their trailer so you can get a general overview of the game. Okay, so now let's go over the other things on the roadmap. So for DMZ with Ashika Island, there's going to be a new boss, and it's also going to feature a new weapons case, which, yeah, is pretty cool. And yeah, I am looking forward to DMZ. I think DMZ is a good mode. It's just pretty bare bones and doesn't really have much purpose because there's no grind factor, there's no economy, there's no trading hub or any real point to the mode. You just collect items and exfil, and I think the lore in DMZ is pretty cool as well. But overall, I think that the mode is just very bare bones. It's way more bare bones than Outbreak even, which was pretty bare bones when it released at first to Black Ops Cold War Zombies, and this is even more bare bones than that. We are also going to be seeing some new weapons. So we have the ISO Hemlock Assault Rifle, the KV Broadside Shotgun, the crossbow, which of course we could already access early in multiplayer anyways. We're also going to be seeing the dual Korachis, which is basically just a katana melee weapon, and they're all on launch. And then we're also going to be seeing the Tempest Torrent Marksman Rifle later in season. And yeah, just another thing to point out on this roadmap is the fact that there is not really much mention of much more content coming in Season 2 Reloaded. There's no mention of further multiplayer maps coming down the line, literally nothing. So I have no idea what the Season 2 roadmap is going to be, unless there's going to be some secret maps coming down the line. But honestly, I'm not hopeful, because if there was, they would have announced them to at least try and calm the community right now, because the community is in upheaval. Everyone is so annoyed, they are so angry. I think this has been the worst received Call of Duty season ever, and like I said, it's made sense in the past with games like Vanguard, but it's so different with Modern Warfare 2. We can't chalk up these issues due to other factors, and also people's expectations weren't very high with Vanguard from the get-go, but it was different with Modern Warfare 2 because it's the sequel, of course, to Modern Warfare 2019, which brought the Call of Duty fanbase back and brought it to new heights. It's the most selling COD of all time, regardless of whether you like that game or not. I'm not personally a big fan of Modern Warfare 2019, but I at least appreciate that it brought Call of Duty back on top, along with Warzone, the first iteration. But Warzone 2 and Modern Warfare 2 hasn't been as well received. But yeah, people are just more disappointed this time because they expected better from this game, and it's somehow being treated even worse than Vanguard, because at least with Vanguard, on launch there was 16 multiplayer maps, I believe, so at least launch had a bunch of content. So although the post-launch wasn't that great, it was made up for a strong launch. But Modern Warfare 2 had a very bare bones launch with not that many maps, and then the first two seasons are also very bare bones, so what on earth is going on? Now, speaking of some further DMZ content, there's going to be a new Crown faction coming. However, you literally are forced to buy the full version of Modern Warfare 2 to be able to get this in DMZ, even though DMZ is free to play. And this seems to be a common trend. So basically what I'm thinking is going on here is Activision are pretty much entirely focused on Warzone. They think that's going to be where all of the money is, and they're putting all all of this focus into Warzone, but then they still want to sell the base copy of Modern Warfare 2, because a large reason why Modern Warfare 2019 sold so well was there was a bunch of players that came over to Modern Warfare 2 from Warzone. They tried out Warzone, really enjoyed it because it was free, and then they decided to buy the full game because of it. But we're not seeing that as strongly with Modern Warfare 2 because A, people don't enjoy the base Modern Warfare 2 as much, and 2, people don't enjoy Warzone 2 as much, and they're trying to force people over to buy Modern Warfare 2, but if they're not even releasing much new content from Modern Warfare 2, why are Warzone 2 players going to be enticed to buy it? It doesn't make any sense. If they were releasing regular content to Modern Warfare 2, then surely those free-to-play Warzone 2 players would be more enticed to pick up the full game. So instead, they're trying to do dirty tactics by locking Warzone content behind the base Modern Warfare 2 game, which is just so frustrating. Now, although there aren't many multiplayer maps in Season 2, at least there are some other cool things coming to multiplayer. So Ranked Play, developed by Treyarch, is coming, and this is what I was saying earlier. Almost all of the content is being worked on by other studios and not Infinity Ward, so what the hell are Infinity Ward working on? Literally, if you look at this roadmap right now, everything on the left is developed by Raven Software and High Moon Studios for Warzone, and then if we look on the right, all Infinity Ward seem to have worked on is the Raid, the multiplayer maps, which all of the multiplayer maps are not new, they're just taken from Al Mazrah anyway, so they've already been done and finished a long time ago, and then we have the modes, the weapons, and the operators, so that's pretty much all they've worked on. And also, speaking of the operators, the final tier skin for Ronin, which is the main operator in Season 2, is terrible. It looks awful, and that's been another really bad thing about Modern Warfare 2. All of the bundles have been terrible. Now, I don't really care because I don't buy bundles anyways. I have no interest in doing that. I just feel like it's a bit of a waste of money, even though a lot of the bundles look really cool. But with Modern Warfare 2, Vanguard, and Black Ops Cold War, we saw a bunch of really awesome and cool interactive and dynamic reactive blueprints and stuff like that. Just some really awesome stuff. But with Modern Warfare 2, all of the bundles have been terrible, and that's probably another reason why Activision's revenue is down a lot right now, because there hasn't even been any good bundles releasing, so no one's going to bother picking up this content. And with the Battle Pass for Season 2, people are probably not going to be that excited to buy the Battle Pass. Why would they if this is the top skin that you get? Just think about all of the other content. If this is supposed to be the top thing, then surely all of the other stuff is terrible as well. We're also going to be getting some new skins for Rose and Nova, but honestly, who cares? So yeah, I just don't understand what the hell's going on, and yeah, there's only one operator in Season 2. What is going on? Actually, what is going on? Ronin, and that's it? They've not even announced any other operators coming in Season 2 Reloaded. Literally nothing. I just don't understand what's going on at all. Literally at all. All they seem to be focusing on is Warzone 2, and that's it. That is literally it. Speaking of Warzone 2, there's also going to be a Path of Ronin event where you'll be able to do different challenges to unlock some emblems and skins and blueprints and whatever random stuff that isn't really that interesting. Yeah, I just don't know what's going on. It doesn't seem like they have any cool live events planned for this game, at least with Vanguard. You know, we saw the Godzilla event, which was really cool, and we've also had the Halloween events in the past, but with Modern Warfare 2, we're not really seeing anything at all. This season, 2 maps that we've already seen before. All of the multiplayer maps, including the battle maps, are just taken from Al Mazrah anyways. We're only seeing one new operator. This operator was in Modern Warfare 2019 anyways, Ronin, so he's not even a new operator. Literally, Infinity Ward are phoning it in so badly. I actually don't know what is going on. It just doesn't make any sense. So because we're seeing so little content, they are adding a bunch of modes, which I think is a really cool thing. So they're adding Infected, Gun Game, and Grind on launch, and I'm really excited to try them out. Obviously, there are a bunch of fun, these party game modes, and later in season, we're going to be seeing some more awesome party game modes, Drop Zone, All or Nothing, and One in the Chamber. So I'm really happy that we're seeing these party game modes. That's awesome, but honestly, these modes should just be there from launch. They need to stop holding back content just so that they can release them post-launch as new content, even though they've been in every single prior Call of Duty. It's not difficult for them to release these modes, but they purposefully hold them back for post-launch content. What I reckon has gone on here is I reckon all of these modes were supposed to be spaced out across all of the seasons, like they did with Black Ops Cold War, but because the game has received so much hate, and because of the fact that they were probably anticipating people would be really disappointed in the season not having much content, they decided to release them all at once. So I'm not really sure what future modes are going to be coming in the future seasons. We are going to be seeing Gunfight at some point, and it's really disappointing that Gunfight hasn't released yet. It was one of the best additions in Modern Warfare 2019. I had so much fun on it. They said that it would be coming post-launch. I thought that they said it was coming in Season 1, but Charlie Intel clarified on Twitter that they just said that Gunfight's going to be coming at post-launch at some point, but I just just don't know when. And it just sucks that Infinity Ward haven't said why Gunfight hasn't released yet. They haven't even given us any inkling as to when it's going to be releasing, so we're just left in the dark, which once again is completely contradicting their statement before launch where they said this game would be the most supported game better than ever before, and it just isn't. It just isn't. And not only is it not being supported well, their communication is just downright dreadful. They're not even giving us any information. They're not telling us what is going on. So I just don't know. I really don't know. And we're seeing 2 bundles in the season as well. So we're seeing the Ballistic Love Tracer Pack and the Shinobi Tracer Pack. But again, who cares at this point? Who honestly cares? Who is going to be spending extra money in this game when the base game itself doesn't even have much content? You have to entice people with the base content so that they're going to spend more money. And the thing is, these extra bundles aren't even good compared to the recent Call of Duties that had some really awesome and unique bundles. So how on earth do they expect people to want to buy these things, especially when they don't even have access anymore to all of the bundles that they bought within the original Warzone and Modern Warfare 2019, Cold War and Vanguard? They all got scrapped now with Warzone 2, and so far there's been no new good bundles. So what the hell is going on? Like, what is actually going on? If I look at this roadmap right now, I'm going to let you know what I'm excited for. So I'm pretty excited to try out Ashika Island in Warzone. I'm really glad that Resurgence is back, but I don't see why they can't just add Ashika Island as a battle map in multiplayer too. I don't know why they can't do that, but anyways, that's going to be a lot of fun, and I can't wait to try out Ashika Island on DMZ as well. DMZ, like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of it. I think it's pretty good though. I think that DMZ on Ashika Island will be a lot more enjoyable than Al Mazrah. I like smaller, condensed maps for DMZ, and Building 21 was a lot of fun, but unfortunately they're just relegating it to weekends, so you can't even play it 24/7, which is frustrating. But yeah, I'm going to try out Ashika Island, and I'm also going to try out, you know, obviously the new boss with the weapon case, and there are going to be some new Easter eggs on Ashika Island as well. I'll probably have guides for them when it releases, so basically my plan is when Season 2 releases, I'll be having guides for, you know, the Ashika Island Easter eggs. But other than that, there's no other content that I'm interested in covering because, you know, I don't do gameplay videos, I just do Easter eggs or lore or storyline stuff. So yeah, there's not really anything here for me to jump into, aside from the fact that there might be some cool lore bits with Ashika Island, which they've already teased within the blog post the other day talking about it, which I'm going to make a whole separate video on. But the other thing coming in Season 2 is the Episode 2 of Raids. Now, of course, this is going to be coming in Season 2 Reloaded, so it's not going to be out there at launch, so we're going to have to wait a little while for it. Nevertheless, I'm really excited for it. This is probably the only piece of content that I'm actually looking forward to. Right now, I just enjoy Modern Warfare 2's lore. I don't care at all about the gameplay. I don't play the game at all, and that's why I've not been posting any videos or content on it, because, like I said, I've not been interested in the game at all, and honestly, what videos are there even to make? Unless I just make constant videos repeating myself, talking about future updates coming to the game. That's literally all there is to make, because there's no new content, no new lore information currently that I can discuss. You know, I made some videos talking about Alex in the Season 1 raid, and they got a lot of views. People were very interested in that, but other than that, all I've been posting recently is zombies lore videos that are getting really poor views, but I'm actually enjoying making them because I'm actually interested in talking about the lore, but I'm not interested in talking about anything regarding Modern Warfare 2 aside from the lore or Easter eggs and stuff like that. But there's not really been any content, new content to even talk about regarding lore. Anyways, in terms of Episode 2 of Raids, they have given us a blog post. So obviously, Episode 1 ended with the fact that we uncovered this bunker in the Statique Mountains, and all of Farah's soldiers were killed, and Alex had gone missing in action. Well, with Episode 2, it seems like we're probably going to be looking for Alex. We do know that he is apparently being held in an embassy, captive, probably by Al-Qatala. But the description for Episode 2 reads, Atomgrad was just the beginning. Price, Farah, and Gaz will be back later in Season 2 with Episode 2 of the raid. A continuation of the campaign. Prepare to squad up for whatever gauntlet lies ahead, even if it means finding unlikely allies to help tie up those loose ends. So it seems like in Episode 2, we're going to be seeing Shadow Company again, and it seems like General Shepard is going to be back. General Shepard is going to be teaming up and helping us in this mission, even though he was the main antagonist, well, I guess with Graves in the campaign. But it's going to be good to see Shepard again. I just don't understand why we would be allying and teaming up with him when he betrayed us last time. He's probably going to betray us again. Why would we do that? Now, we did previously learn from the Ashika Island description that there is apparently a new leader of Shadow Company, and people were thinking that maybe Graves has somehow survived from the tank being exploded. and he might be taking over from Shepard, and that could be the case. Maybe that's why Shepard's helping us now, because he's been abandoned by Shadow Company, and Graves could be alive. Even though people say it's unlikely, you have to bear in mind Alex was apparently dead. The whole building that he was in burnt down, but he managed to survive, so anything's possible in the Call of Duty universe. So Graves could be the new Shadow Company leader. Maybe that's why Shepard's helping us, like I said. But yeah, right now there's not really much to talk about regarding the episode 2 of Raids. I'm probably going to make a whole separate video talking about the lore of Ashika Island as well as episode 2 of Raids, so I'll do that, just talking about the future storyline. There's also some tie-ins with Ashika Island and Zombies, so I'll make 2 separate videos about that, because like I said, I'm only interested in the lore and storyline stuff right now because the game isn't interesting to me. So I'll make videos about that, and then on the launch I'll just make videos again about any lore information or storyline. But speaking of lore stuff, episode 2 of Raids is going to be the only Spec Ops content. It seems like Infinity Ward are pretty much abandoning Spec Ops with Season 2. With Modern Warfare 2019, Infinity Ward also abandoned Spec Ops by Season 2. There's no new Spec Ops missions coming in Season 2 aside from this raid. Now, I understand that raids are a part of Spec Ops, but they're basically their own thing at the same time because of the fact that you play as a set cast of 3 characters, Gaz, Farah, and Price. They're very separate from the regular Spec Ops missions. The only thing that carries over are the kits, of course. So to me, raids are basically their own thing. Since it's telling the post-launch story, they actually have cutscenes, whereas, you know, the Spec Ops content are just little basic missions. But yeah, it seems like we're not really getting any future Spec Ops missions aside from the raids, and I don't know if there's going to be more in future seasons. They might just rehash some of the old missions like they did with Defender Gun Game, which I wouldn't mind them doing that as extra content. But yeah, like I said before, no content is being worked on by Infinity Ward, it seems like, because all of the maps are maps we've seen before, all they're in Al Mazrah, all of the modes are modes we've seen before. I guess they've worked on the weapons, but again, we've seen the crossbow already, so that's not an entirely new weapon. We've seen Ronin the Operator before, so again, that's not new. Ranked play is being worked on by Treyarch. Warzone 2 stuff is Raven and High Moon Studios, so then all Infinity Ward are working on is the raids and also the weapons. All the other stuff they're working on is just rehashed. So why exactly is Infinity Ward treating Modern Warfare 2 so poorly? Well, like I talked about at the beginning of the video, I suspect that there's probably some major developmental issues going on behind the scenes regarding this game. I don't know if a lot of developers have quit or if there's other Activision related issues, potentially with workplace conditions, or maybe there's some issues due to the Activision-Microsoft merger that keeps getting delayed and postponed due to people trying to block it. I don't know if there's some issues there, but I think the reason why the post-launch has been so poor is because we're apparently going to be getting a year 2 for Modern Warfare 2. However, yesterday Activision had an investor call and they said that a full premium content release is still planned for Call of Duty this year in 2023. So I think around October, November, they're essentially going to release a game and they're going to market it as an entirely new Call of Duty game, but essentially it's still going to boot from Modern Warfare 2 and be a part of Modern Warfare 2. And this will feature a new campaign. It's probably going to be a Modern Warfare spin-off, and it's being worked on by Sledgehammer Games, so it's not even being worked on by Infinity Ward. And I feel like that campaign's probably going to follow the stuff with Makarov, with the post-credit scene of Modern Warfare 2 and the remake of No Russian on the plane being hijacked by Russian ultra-nationalists. That's probably going to be the plot for this year 2 campaign. Or maybe it'll be a Ghost origin story because the Infinity Ward writers have said they wanted to do that. And then for the multiplayer side of things, they'll probably also be releasing a bunch of remade multiplayer maps from Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3, the originals, and they might have some new multiplayer maps as well. But the game will essentially boot from Modern Warfare 2 anyways, and then for the new Warzone map, we'll see Las Almas, which has already been worked on, and there's a map for it in the campaign anyways. And yeah, they're probably going to charge a full $70 for this full price and say it's a new game because they're going to claim, well, you're getting new weapons, you're getting new maps, you're getting a new campaign. It's essentially like a full game, even though it isn't, because even though, yes, content-wise it might have the same, like, that warrants the title of a full game, it's essentially an expansion pass, because what makes every single game unique is a unique setting and a unique feel. If it's going to be booting from Modern Warfare 2, it's going to feel the same. So yeah, it's basically an expansion pass, but I feel like they're going to market it as a new game, mainly for investors and shareholders, so that their stocks don't plummet. And Modern Warfare 2 is apparently only getting 5 seasons, which again is really, really disappointing and worrying, and it also doesn't make sense why the content is so little when they have less seasons than before. There should be more content per season. It also means that the seasons are dragged out and way too long, and I think all of this is because of this year 2 expansion pass, whatever they decide to call it or market it as. It'll probably be called Modern Warfare with a subtitle, I'd imagine. They're probably really struggling right now to space out content over a full 2 years, is, and that's why we're seeing so little content in its year 1, because a lot of it's probably being saved for that year 2, which is just so sad. And right now we're seeing a lot of the community going back to saying that Treyarch are the GOATs, because Black Ops Cold War was absolutely trashed by the community. People hated on it so much, but now in hindsight people are praising it a lot because that game did really well at covering all of its bases. Yes, you can argue there weren't enough round-based maps for Zombies fans. Yes, you can argue there might have needed to be more original multiplayer maps, but if you look at the game overall, especially compared to Vanguard and Modern Warfare 2, it had a lot of content for all modes to keep all players happy. Warzone had Rebirth Island, and of course we had Verdansk 84, so Warzone was well supported, and then we also had plenty multiplayer maps added to the game, and yes, a lot of them were remakes, but they were plentiful, and they still had a decent amount of new maps released in the post-launch too, and even after its first year, they were still releasing new maps. So yeah, even though a lot were remakes, they still kept fans satisfied. And with Zombies, once again, they could have had more content, but there was still enough, you know what I mean? They still had quite a bit of content with Outbreak and round-based content. So overall, Black Ops Cold War did well at managing to have just enough content for multiplayer Warzone and Zombies, but Modern Warfare 2 is the opposite. Spec Ops has been abandoned now, there's no new content, all they're releasing is the raids, which are nowhere near as in-depth as Zombies, you know, so they don't really have a viable co-op mode for fans to enjoy in Modern Warfare 2. Then multiplayer is being treated really poorly, we're barely getting any maps, there's barely even any operators coming. Cold War had such cool operators with people like Stitch, and it had an awesome post-launch story. In terms of Warzone, I guess they've had quite a lot of content with Al Mazrah and DMZ and Ashika Island coming, but people just aren't happy with Warzone 2 due to it being too different from Warzone 1, at least in terms of Battle Royale, and they find it a lot clunkier. But people enjoy DMZ, but again, it's just too bare bones. So yeah, overall, they just haven't managed to cater to fans well and cater to all different types of players. Basically, literally, there's not one community across all of the modes that is happy or satisfied. Multiplayer fans are disappointed, Warzone fans are disappointed, DMZ fans are semi-happy, but they're also disappointed because they feel like the mode could be much better and it needs a proper reason and grind to it. But it's a good start. So yeah, DMZ is the only thing that people are happy with, and then there's not really a proper co-op mode since Spec Ops is very basic and not very replayable, and for the raids you just play them once and then never play them again. The storyline's interesting, but that's about it. So yeah, that's everything I have to talk about in this video. All of this is just really disappointing. Anyways, thank you for watching the video. Make sure to subscribe if you're not here for the latest and greatest Call of Duty news and information. So anyways, thank you for watching, and bye.